Alrighty, quick microphone check. We seem to be working. Good stuff. That's the case. I think we're ready to rock and roll. Let's do this. Alrighty. Howdy. What's going on, boys and girls? Oh boy. Did Blizzard post some updates yesterday? Yes, they did. Now, I was hoping for them to sort of ease up a little bit with the leatherworking profession. Instead, they have doubled down, and then they doubled it. Yeah, I've not had a quick look. I've had a quick look through the data mined info. I've not looked in game yet, so we'll do that. I think we're going to have to do some updating of spreadsheets, because everybody loves a good spreadsheet. But oh boy, I was hoping they were going to reduce the amount of materials required to craft legendary gear with leatherworking, but they appear to have increased the materials, which is, it's a madness. My only hope is that they have also done something to leatherworking, increasing drop rates or something. That is always info that when it comes to changing drop rates or changing loot tables on mobs, there is very rarely any sort of like data mined info about that. So we might have to first check out leatherworking, see what significant changes there are. Secondly, we might need to go do a little bit of skinning to see if they've changed any drop rates. They've even gone as far as, from what I can gather, removing some materials from leatherworking. The zone-specific leathers seem to have been removed out of the game, at least for the build that we're in now, which is intriguing. As obviously we would have assumed that they wanted zone-specific leathers to work in a similar fashion to like the zone-specific herbs and the zone-specific ore. You know, all of that would make sense to me. Why is my camera pointing half the wrong way though? That'll do. That's better. Ignore this. It's just sheets that are drying. But alright, yeah, so I guess let's check out leatherworking. So, the big significant changes from what I can gather were that the materials were changed, or should I say some of the materials were removed. Ooh, Crafter's Mark II. Oh no, that's because I haven't learnt it yet. Oh, I thought they'd removed Crafter's Mark II. Then that would have been a right shit show. Heavy desolate hide still requires 10 desolate hide to craft. That's not changed. What has changed is what has appeared to change is the required materials to craft legendary items. For the smart of you out there, you'll remember that you needed 25 heavy desolate. We're talking about the male ones now. You needed 25 heavy desolate leather before. You then needed 100 pallid bones, and then you needed something else. We've got it on our spreadsheet. But as you can see, there's now considerably more materials that are needed to craft even a single legendary item. So where's our little spreadsheet on the go? Let's look at, well, let's do leatherworking first, which is going to be the umber hide gear. So umber hide gear has now changed from being such. So previously it was 100 desolate leather. That is now being reduced down to 75. So less desolate leather. But they've also added 5 heavy desolate leather, which actually is the equivalent of 50 leather. So overall it's gone up to 125 leather. Still the arboreal shard. Now, not only do you need 25 heavy desolate leather, the enchanted heavy desolate leather, you also need a regular one as well. So they've actually, it's gone from needing 25 of these to 26. They've increased it even more. Are there any other changes to other professions? There do appear to be some subtle changes, nothing huge. We'll go over those first. It's only really leatherworking that they've completely gone crazy with. But I guess it means that we need to sort of update our spreadsheet a little bit. What I'm going to do is duplicate it first and foremost so that we're able to see a comparison from like before and after. We're going to need to find out what they've changed rank 2s and rank 3s to, because that's going to make a significant change to the overall crafting cost. But let's update our price list. So we need desolate leather, that's the same. Enchanted heavy desolate hide, still the same. Arboreal shards are still the same. But now we need to add row below. Above, it doesn't matter. We need to add in just heavy desolate hide. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 materials now. I've only got 4 on my list. What am I missing? We've got the enchanted, we got the regular, we got, oh, we need desolate leather and heavy desolate leather. Jesus. Okay. So hopefully this won't break too badly. So we then need to copy this to here. We need to change these from, so desolate hide we need 75 of them. We still need the 25 and changes to leveling the profession. That's one thing I'm not too sure of, but I've probably got plenty enough materials that I can re-level it just to test. Leatherworking, I have the advantage of having a reasonable amount of stuff, so enchanteds are the same, arboreal shards are the same, heavy desolate hide we now need 1 of them, and we need how many? We need 5 heavy desolate leather. So let's make these 2 boxes yellow. Film colour yellow, because they're ones we're going to need to input. Now should we go by the assumption that a heavy desolate hide is going to sell for 10 times the price of a desolate leather? Sorry, a heavy desolate leather is going to sell for 10 times because that's the skill up, you know. So we're going to say that's probably going to be 250 gold for a heavy desolate leather. And a single heavy desolate hide we're going to assume is the same price. We're going to okay, well these prices actually then, these are slightly cheap. These are probably going to be 500 if I'm honest. And then you're looking at the regular one being 400, I would say. These are conservative numbers. This is just to indicate the difference between what it was before and what it's going to be now. So, single craft price of that. We should be able to drag those down. We can. Bingo. God, I love Excel when it works properly. That number should then be the sum of E5 to the sum of E9. Bigger numbers. We're going to need to add a row below. 2 rows below. We can change these numbers in a minute, but we can drag these down and drag these down to make sure that the spreadsheet works properly. One above, so one above. We'll get the figures off Wowhead in a minute. I just want to make sure that my spreadsheet's set up to work. We're going to need to change these to 21. And this to 33. And that should then stay the same. Because good old Excel is all dynamic. Okay. So let's grab the prices for rank 2s and rank 3s. Umbra, hide. Let's just do arm guards. Have I not spelled that right? Oh, it's not good. It might not work if I'm not on the beta version, but we'll see. Okay, so we do have the numbers. We do have the numbers. So it goes from 25 to 35 to 45 to 55. That's stayed the same. It goes from 1 to 2 to 3. 1 to 2 to 3. And then how much heavy desolate leather is it going to take? It goes from 5 to 10 to 20 to 25. 5 to 10 to 20. 5 to 10 to 20 to 25, yeah. Desolate leather has gone from 75 to 90 to 110. 75, what did I say? 75 to 90, was it? 75, 90, and 110. Oh, there's not so much difference in potential price. Morning, Axe. Welcome, welcome. If you've just turned up, we're assessing the new leatherworking changes that happened in the latest beta build. They've been fiddling around with the material requirements for leatherworking to craft the legendary gear, so we're just testing out and making sure that we can get some accurate numbers still. So let's go by the assumption that the prices are the same as what they were before. So heavy desolate hide we said was probably going to be 500 gold a piece. The boil shard has stayed the same. So as a comparison, now that they've fiddled and changed with the materials a bit, it's made the single craft of a rank 1 17,025, whereas before it was 16,000. So it's a slight increase in crafting cost overall, assuming that our guesses of these figures is close. But what that does mean is overall, it's going to push the price from 1.26 million gold to get an item up to rank 4 to potentially 1.4 million gold. I heard you have to create 10 of them to get to the next rank and then 20 of that rank to get to rank 3. That's going to be a lot of materials. Yes, absolutely yes. Have I been doing this the whole time in my spreadsheet without actually allowing you to see the spreadsheet? Wow, what a terrible person I am. Why did nobody tell me? There you go. Now you can see the spreadsheet. I should really keep an eye on OBS. Also, we'll do a before and after. Previously, we were looking at rank 1 legendaries, leather ones. We were looking roughly at a potential price per rank 1 legendary of about 16,000 gold to craft it. We are now at a point where because of the material changes that happened in this later beta build, we're up to about 17,000 gold per craft. So of course, to make those first 10 legendary items, you're looking at 170k just to get to rank 2. And guys, just wait. You think that leatherworking is expensive? Wait till we look at mail, and then I'll let you into a little secret. Jewel crafting is 10 times this price. Jewel crafting is bonkers. But if you were in the stream yesterday, you'd have probably seen a little bit of that. Let's just do mail then. Let's do a duplicate on this one. Let's check the Bone Shatter arm guards. Bone Shatter. Let's just do the arm guards. Strategy there is just level it up with Torghast gradually. Only world first raiders will be buying the rank 4 ones. Likely to be the case. Yeah. Best strategy is not to bother. It's getting to a point. It's getting to that point. So Bone Shatter arm guards. Where's the material and prices? I wanted to do a search. I didn't want to actually select. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4. Why is there 5 versions now? Oh, okay, sure. Okay, so let's change. We're going to need an extra couple of rows for these, because there's now 6 materials needed to craft a male one. Insert 1 below, insert 1 below, and insert 1 below. Do the same here. We've got some space. honestly not going to bother with rank 1 either. Depending on the profit, I will just sell the enchanted mats on the auction house and make bank that way. But this is a strategy I highly recommend most people aim for. Realistically, it's if you want to be that crafter on your server that is able to craft rank 2, 3 and 4 legendary gear, you are going to need to invest a boatload of gold. And I worry that you just won't make that gold back. I mean, that is quite a concern. So for the male ones we need, it's changed, we still need the bones. Enchanted heavy desolate hide, we still need 25 of those. We need regular heavy desolate hide. We need heavy desolate leather. And we also need regular desolate leather. Holy smoke. Okay. So it's gone from only needing 3 materials to 6. They really are trying to ramp it up. We assume, if we claim that the prices for the material prices are the same across the board, wouldn't surprise me if a heavy desolate, enchanted heavy desolate hide is 500. No. Then these ones. Unless something changes, most newbie goblins will buy tokens to afford the mats, and I'll make bank from them, certain profit. Hey, yeah, well, why not? Yeah, absolutely. I don't raid, so I've no need for these high-end pieces, but this is a great goal maker, as everybody will want mats. Yeah, the material market's going to be bonkers. I can't wait, if I'm honest. So we claimed that desolate leather was going to go for probably 25 gold a piece. We claimed that heavy desolate leather, we reckon is about 250 gold a piece, and heavy desolate hide probably 400 gold a piece. 500 gold by the time that. Okay. Now, fingers crossed, we can just drag these about and we should get the right numbers. So pallid bones has now been reduced dramatically from 100 down to only 20. The amount of hide has changed the same, the arboreal shards has stayed the same. Heavy desolate hide, you now only need 1 of those. You need 5 heavy desolate leather, and then you also need 50 regular desolate leather. Any other interesting crafts for leather, or should I just have my main switch to enchanting from gathering? Realistically, Leatherworker's main area for gold making is going to be the legendary pieces. But even like the armor kits, you'll sell a whole bunch of. Shadowlands is very consumable heavy. They're really trying to push the fact that your character should have 10 mini buffs on the go at all times to be running at peak performance. But honestly, outside of that, you've got drums. Drums are going to be a good one. They appear to have changed the price of drums as well. I can't remember what they were before, but this looks less than what it was. I need to look at the full patch notes for this, but these materials for drums look less than what they were. Go away, Malwarebytes. Do we know where the oboe shards come from? Is it the expulsum blood of Sorgao? Unfortunately, as much as I was hoping it wasn't going to be the case, they're likely to just be sold by the vendor. They're 1,000 gold a piece. They're sold by the vendor, and the reason we think that they may stay on a vendor is because they increased the quantity of them that are needed to craft the rank 2s, 3s and 4 legendaries. Rank 2 legendaries require 3 of them each, rank 3 legendaries require 6, and then rank 4 legendaries require 10. So it's basically Blizzard's way to like dump a whole load of gold. But let's see if we can get these numbers correct, the rest of it, before we dive too deep, or before I get too distracted, which is more likely the case. You're going to need to update this one, be the sum of everything to E10. This one's going to be the sum of everything to E23. And this one is going to be the sum of everything until E36. Bingo. So let's find some material values. So for a rank 2, it goes up to 25 bone, 35 enchanted. At least it's not time gated. Well, that's the thing. It means that you can just plow forward with it. If you have the resources to do so, you can just go for it. So it's still 3 shards. It's still 35 heavy. It goes up to 2. And then, okay. Let's just do one at a time. The bones, it goes from 20 to 25 to 30. 20 to 25 to 30. Now, heavy desolate hide goes from being a single one to 2 to 3 to 4. Steps up one at a time. Heavy desolate leather steps up from 5 to 10. 5 to 10 to 20, so it doubles every time. 5 to 10 to 20. 5, 10, and then 20. And then how many regular pieces of leather? We go from 50 to 60 to 70. 50, 60 to 70. Okay. Spreadsheet is updated then, so let's look at the difference between before and after. So it's taken a guesstimated price of 17k to make a rank 1 before to 17k still. So it seems to have been, they've tried to make sure that from an economy point of view that the increase in materials hasn't actually changed the value of each item dramatically. I mean, it gets more exaggerated by the time you look at the total cost to get to rank 4. It goes from 1.3 million gold to 1.4.5. It's about an extra 100,000 gold. But like I said, all these numbers are very heavily based upon guesswork right now. But yeah, that's just simply though the quantity of materials itself is quite scary. I mean, the fact that the leather ones went from using only 3 items up to needing basically a bit of everything. And the mail gear is just crazy expensive now. Because before it was just bones, heavy enchanted, and shards. That was it. So they've added heavy desolate hide, heavy desolate leather, and desolate leather. The equivalent of 100 desolate leather and an additional hide to each one. But in turn, they've reduced the amount of bones you need. Drums are going to be more in demand on raid week, so I'll ignore leatherworking till then and just level it and stockpile mats for later and enchant the heavy desolate. Yeah, that's not a bad plan. Not a bad plan. Now, the one thing that could make a huge difference to all of this is if they've changed up the skinning drop rates. If they've made it considerably easier to get heavy desolate hide, for example, all of a sudden the value of that item then decreases, and it's going to heavily reduce the value of each legendary craft. Because if we actually look at the where is, say for example, a male legendary item is going to cost you about 17,000 gold to craft, guesstimation, but 12,000 of that cost is from the enchanted heavy desolate hide. Like a super high percentage of the overall value of the item is coming from just one material, because that one material is rare. Now, I'm willing to admit that I might be wrong with the prices on these, but from past experience, I think it's a pretty good guess. Try doing an hour of skinning later and compare the results. Yeah, I'm going to have a quick look through the patch notes for the rest of the professions, and we can just sort of skirt through in a little bit less detail than I've done with leatherworking. But then yes, we will do a little bit of testing. Testing is the only way you get answers to this, but people don't like spreadsheets, so we'll move on from spreadsheets business for now. Let's take a look at the news. Where's the actual patch notes gone though? Here we go. Almost buried already. Hi Manthieus, what are you up to today? We're going to do an overview of the professions because quite a few things have changed in the most recent build on the beta. We're going to do a little bit of skinning because I need to test if they've changed the drop rates or not. And then we might then look in a little bit more detail about how we can prepare and plan for both pre-patch and Shadowlands in a more general fashion. But okay, so where's the main details? Achievements, there's not going to be much there that is of interest to us. We need the profession stuff. Classes, people can check their classes in their own time. Set bonuses, no. Mounts, it's just a name change on a mount. So here we go, professions. Let's close them all down and look at them one by one. Enchanting's had, well, you can see Enchanting's had a lot of changes, but 90% of it is focusing on past expansion stuff. So alchemy changed from professions to uncategorized, so they're taking a few things out of the game. What are they taking out of the game? Elemental, distillate, and wild water. I genuinely don't know what these are or even what they were. These are the yeah, this was a big thing. The Warlords of Draenor. If any of you guys remember Warlords of Draenor in enough detail to remember that a lot of the crafted gear, you could upgrade the item level of it using your garrison's daily resources. I think because it was playing havoc with the item scaling, because of the level squish, they've removed the items that allowed you to upgrade the item levels. This is going to mean two things. Well, the main thing is going to be that the appearances of a lot of the gear was different when you upgraded the item level. So from a transmog point of view, there may be some transmog that's kind of no longer obtainable. That's it. There was 6 stages of upgrade for each item. And especially with the crafted gear, each stage had a slightly different like colour to it, meaning that for those real hardcore transmog hunters, arguably if you're a hardcore transmog hunter, you've likely already got all of the appearances by this point, because Warlords of Draenor was time ago. But they've removed a lot of the items that were that you would use to upgrade the item level. We'll see that be the same across a whole bunch of professions now. So there was 2 for alchemy that they've removed. Blacksmithing, here you go, you can see the Mighty Steel Forged Essence, the Mighty True Steel Essence. These were all like item upgrades, which they've all moved them into the uncategorized category, which as far as Blizzard is concerned is they're just taking it out of the game. It's no longer a profession item. Upgrade weapon. Upgrades, item level. These are spells. Either way, they've taken them out of the game as well. And these were probably linked onto this. So those Warlords of Draenor upgrade materials have gone, meaning there might be some transmog that's no longer obtainable. Enchanting, I'm not going to go through in too much detail, but it's simply every single old enchant has now had its basically been made so that they'll all work up until level 50 but not above. So as soon as you hit that current Shadowlands content, then anything that was made previously with enchanting is going to be null and void. Still means that leveling up to 50, the old enchants are going to be quite helpful. And now that we've had the level squish and everything applies to them, it might be a little bit weird for a while, but as you can see, they've changed most of the automatic squish that happened, pushed everything to a weird level number, and so they've just gone through all of the old enchanting plans and changed them to be like can't be used on items above 50. That's pretty much universal across the board. And unfortunately, when you look at this, and there's 337 enchants that they've had to change, this is where the development time is going, and this is why professions feel bland and kind of quite dull in Shadowlands, because they're having to spend all their time fixing shit that got broken because of the level squish. Bit sad, but maybe in 9.1, 9.2, 9.3 they can spend a bit more development time on the professions, but we'll have to see. So I'm not going to go through all of these because it's literally just a massive list of old enchants. Engineering, I imagine it's the same. It's the upgrade items. There is something new though with engineering. As much as I shit on engineering on a regular basis for it being terrible for goal making, they do have engineers now have the resurrection tool, disposable spectrophastic reanimator. Basically exactly the same as what it is in BFA right now. Gives you the chance, will revive somebody, but has the chance of killing you when you do it. Much like most engineering stuff has that sort of that risk of using that gadget. This is the same again. I've not checked the material requirements for these though, so let's look at this in a little bit more detail. Warm-fed gear assembly, only a single one, a Morton coil spring, 2 of them, handful of leystrike bolts, leystrike ore, and then a machinist's oil. These are going to be pretty cheap to make. Rephrases the anima strings on a target that recently died, restoring them to life with 60% health and 20% mana. Castable in combat. Chance to backfire, phasing the wrong strings on the target, resulting in a loss of vitality. Basically meaning that it will kill you. It's interesting that you can start crafting them and making them at engineering 50, but it requires you to be engineering level 85 to use it. So there may be some instances. Can we get this half-naked man off our screen, maybe? Thanks, Wowhead, for that. I really appreciate. It may be a case of that in some Mythic Plus groups, for example, people are somewhat forced into being engineers, simply because that's the only battle res that they have access to. But hey. Hey, welcome again from California. Love the content so far. Can't wait for Shadowlands. Well, good to see you, Carl. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm every single day I'm getting more and more psyched for Shadowlands. It's looking good. It's looking really good. Engineering, that's pretty much the only big significant change that we had with engineering. Inscription, I imagine it's mostly the same. Yeah, the Warlords of Draenor upgrades have been removed. And Master's Inscriptions permanently add 4 intellect and 3 spirit to shoulder armor. Can only these are okay. These are, once again, this is similar to enchanting. They're literally just fixing stuff that was broken because of the level squish. Nothing significant there at all. Meaning that inscription will you can enchant your own shoulders up until level 50, but once you get into Shadowlands, then it's new stuff, new content. 38 days, 13 hours and 18 minutes. To the minute. Wow. If you care to farm dungeons on retail, me and my cousin have been level farming. I'm not going to do any leveling until pre-patch comes out. There's no offense to you and your cousin, but you're wasting your time. Leveling takes about twice as long as it will do once the pre-patch comes out. Just wait like 2 weeks and then do some leveling. 1 to 50 once the pre-patch comes out is going to be like 10 to 12 hours. It's really quick, what we've seen. Whereas it takes roughly 24 hours at the moment. Leveling is going to be about double the speed. Really quite fast. I don't know how that's going to be with dungeons though. Maybe it's going to be certainly through questing. It's going to be quite quick. Because if you think about it, like you go from level 10 to level 50 in just one expansion. So if you take Battle for Azeroth, for example, by the time you've completed quests in 3 zones, you've got to be getting 10 to 12 levels per zone. More druids, more power. Absolutely. That I can't disagree with. Dual crafting changes. Simply being, once again, Warlords of Draenor crafting items being taken away. We've had a look at, let's look and see if there was anything else with leatherworking that stands out. We've obviously seen the legendary changes. They've tweaked the materials. It's nice to see that they've tweaked the materials but haven't really increased the price or decreased the price of crafting them much. But what I do hope is that the drop chance on things like Heavy Desolate Hide has been increased. So lots of legendary stuff. Lots of legendary stuff. Oh, they've changed a few other things. Composite bow. Agent removed. Gaunt sinew. They've removed gaunt sinew. Does that mean that they've taken that out of the game as well then? They've changed it all to the thread. Which is sold by a tailoring vendor. Interesting. Why would you... okay, sure. So maybe this gaunt sinew has been taken out of the game completely. We'll do some skinning, we'll find out. Drums... okay, drums haven't changed. They've just... it just now uses a thread instead of the sinew. Maybe that's why, when I looked at it, it looked different to me. Heavy Desolate Armor kits, yeah, all of this, it just means this gaunt sinew, which was it was basically like the rare version of the pallid bone, but I think they're just keeping the bone to be, you know, itself. Mighty Burnished Essence, this is your Warlord of Draenor upgrade. This is something that's interested me. Necrotic Leather, Purified Leather, presumably the other 2 types of leather as well. Sinful Leather. They've taken all of those out of the game as well. So whereas herbalism and mining still have their zone-specific herbs and ore, leatherworking appears to now no longer have zone-specific stuff. So that's really going to push people to only do skinning in the most profitable areas. Whereas when you like, for example, with leather, with herbalism, for example, people are always going to be in the 4 zones because you always need 4 different types of herbs and you always need 4 different types of ore. It spreads people out a little bit more, so everything's not clustered in one spot, which was, in my mind at least, one of the advantages of having these zone-specific materials. But as far as skinning is concerned, they seem to have removed it, or at least they've removed the ability for leather workers to craft it. It may still be a case that skinners can skin it, but leather workers can no longer craft it. That's interesting. I hadn't considered that option. Because previously you could take some bones and some regular leather and some herbs and you could make the zone specific leather. I mean, arguably though, they've not really given much use for the zone specific leather, at least as it stands now. So it may be something that they're going to take out the game initially for 9.0 and then bring it back in for 9.1, maybe 9.2, with some additional profession changes. That could be a more realistic approach, I'd say. Did I try to DE any items which are being crafted whilst leveling with professions and require level 50 to use? For example, level 50 weapons for blacksmithing. I mean, I've not specifically tried to disenchant any of those things. But disenchant rates are something we can look at, certainly. It's now at a point where I can get hold of green items pretty easily and pretty reliably. There's a few good cloth farming spots which I can use to just craft a whole bunch of like tailoring items quite quickly. Once they start changing all of the professions on a weekly basis, we can start really sort of homing in on things like disenchant rates and milling rates and prospecting rates. Let's look what else there. So Umberhide, this is all the legendary stuff still. This all appears to be what we've already seen. Actually, there's many versions of it for each of the variants. That was leatherworking and tailoring. I imagine it's just the Warlords of Draenor stuff. It is, yes. It is. Okay. So there's not a huge amount of actual Shadowlands specific updates this week. Realistically, it's just that one new item for engineers, which is just a copy and paste of what we've had in what we've had from BFA already, giving engineers the combat res, and of course the changes to the legendaries within leatherworking. But I think we probably need to do a little bit of skinning just to see if anything has changed there. Does this feel like it could be the final leatherworking? The fact that they're now tweaking the materials required leads me to believe we're very close. I can't imagine there's going to be a huge amount more changes. But I mean, that's something that's quite easy to say simply on the basis that we're now less than 2 weeks away from pre-patch. We're 38 days and 13 hours and 18 minutes away from the game going live. There just genuinely isn't much more time for Blizzard to be changing these things. But let's just do a quick check. I don't think there was anything else newsworthy of changes. Unless you're a hunter and you want to get yourself a new slime cat. Torghast has been disabled on the beta. It's probably something very broken with it. They rarely disable something completely unless there's serious exploits or problems with it somewhere. Druids, Kindred Spirits removed from the GCD. So they're still making like drastic spell changes. Oh, there's the new video, isn't there? Maybe we should watch that. Dungeon tuning. I've not done really any testing of the dungeons at all, so when it comes to the tuning of the dungeons, I'm not your guy, unfortunately. Oh, additional Castle Nathria trinkets added in Shadowlands and drop sources revealed. This could be valuable because this could affect Dark Moon cards. There are currently 5 trinkets that drop off the Stone Legion generals inside Nathras, and these are the trinkets that will be 7 item levels higher than the rest of the instance, and on Mythic difficulty will be the highest item level trinkets you can get at item level 233. These arguably are going to become the best trinkets. Now ignore the item level that's on it now, because they will... The item level obviously scales, and as you can see at Mythic they'll be 233, equally meaning that they're interestingly it has a required level of 48. I don't think you're going to be raiding like at level 48, but sure. Do these tooltips update in any better fashion? No. So we've got 5 different ones. Stone Legion. Proclaim your allegiance to the Stone Legion, increasing your versatility. Increased by 10% for each other person in your raid that has the same trinket. Join the Crimson Chorus. Every minute your critical strike swells to 162 before returning down to normal. This once again is increased by 10% for each member that's wearing it. Bannerbound Mirror. Every 3200 mana spent, store 300 worth of healing in the mirror, and then on use does a bunch of healing plus whatever's stored in the mirror. So it doesn't look like they've changed the trinkets since they first released them. It's just we now have like drop sources and actual names to them. Unleash 3 flames at your target, inflicting 4k damage, and then absorb a bunch of damage and then heal for twice the remaining amount after 6 seconds. So they don't seem too bad. Obviously the way that they scale is going to be interesting, but this does mean that once you start picking these up from the raid, they will push out the Dark Moon cards a little bit. But you can note the fact that they're unique equipped means you're still likely to probably run 1 raid trinket and 1 Dark Moon trinket for the first patch at least. Meaning the Dark Moon card trinkets, even if they're not BIS, they're probably still going to be very, very high in demand. Simply because you'll be able to get hold of them before you even step foot in the raid. That's going to be a really big thing. So we now know which bosses they drop off as well. But there is a whole bunch of them, you know. Also, there's 5 that are even higher item levels, and then there's a whole bunch of them that drop just generally off all of the different bosses. So yeah, there is going to be plenty of trinkets in the raid. So is Nightface still the best covenant for alts? Potentially, but I've honestly not been able to test the farm out in enough detail yet. It's broken. Watch my jewel crafting video. Damn, it will be expensive to skill up, but rings and necks have good item level. Yeah, the thing is it's going to be quite expensive to skill up, but you're going to recuperate a lot of that cost when you start selling the items. In the jewel crafting video and the leveling I did for it, I heavily focused on prospecting, simply with the mindset of that you are going to need to do a lot of prospecting anyway, so you might as well get free skill points when you do it. If you then skill to 100 and have materials left over, it's not the end of the world because you just craft shit and then sell it. But the cheapest and easiest way long term to get skill points is just to do a material conversion. So either milling or disenchanting or prospecting is always the best way to get your skill points within a profession. If you try and level professions simply by just crafting lots of gear, you burn through a load of materials, making it firstly quite expensive, but secondly you've then got the issue of you're often trying to sell a lot of gear that may be like basic leveling gear, and if everybody does that, then those bits of gear are just flooded. So it then becomes even harder to sell them, and then ultimately you have the horrible situation if you look at starting to vendor stuff. And that's when those professions actually get really expensive to craft. So jewel crafting is going to be a big expenditure to begin with, but you should recuperate most, if not all, of that cost very quickly. Doesn't appear that there's anything else that's going to be too interesting. We've set bonuses in PvP to add extra versatility. Shadowlands engineering battle res added. We've found that one. Updates to Covenant Renowned, reward unlock levels, campaign steps, transmog Stormbind updates, and then the builds. Okay, so we're pretty much caught up to speed with the news. That's I think where we're at now. So there's only one thing to do, and that one thing is to do some skinning. Let's dump all of these materials that we have on us in the bank. It's interesting that I still have this gaunt sinew and the sinful leather and stuff in my bags, so they've not removed it from us, or it's not greyed out even, should I say. But let's deposit the reagents for now. You can see we've got quite a stack of reagents right now. So I've got enough materials that I can easily re-level leatherworking to see if any of these changes. In fact, the likelihood of them changing the leveling of it is virtually none, because they've only really changed the legendaries, which you don't get till you're max level anyway. So
your patronage is always appreciated.
Did you already try to estimate which base items are best to start craft them based on legendary perks? I think each specific has its own perk, or am I wrong? Oh, in regards to no, I've really not dived into that in any detail. All I would say is that jewel crafting's in a bit of a bad spot right now, simply because people are going to choose an alternative slot rather than the neck or the ring when it comes to their legendary perk, simply because the base legendary items for jewel crafting are going to be stupidly expensive. But where should we do some skinning? I think we should probably, well, there's no reason for us to not go to the best spot in the game, is there? Means we're off to Ardenworld. This is my skinner, right? Or I run away and check, yes. Where is the flight dude? I can never find him. I'll have to dig out my footage to get the exact... Or I might still have it in that spreadsheet somewhere.
Greetings, mortal.
Oh, I need to get back... Aha, these are new. Is this because the whole... Ah, yeah. Maybe it's because this portal system is still completely bust. Blizzard would update jewel crafting and give more materials from prospecting, mark my words. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to change it. It can't go live the way that it is. It's completely bust. Did the same with Kraken Eyes and red-green gems needed for rings in BFA. Yeah, I mean, hopefully my only hope is that they will do it before the game goes live. Because if they start retroactively fixing things once the game is live, it gets really messy for everybody, because those people that have bought a bunch of stuff before the change get pissed off, and it just makes things weird. So we need to get our ass down to... Should we go... Gorm Hive is the best, isn't it, by far? Let's go Gorm Hive. Where's the closest flight point then? The flight dude over here somewhere. You're here.
You need something. Is it time to go?
Same, I don't want to invest so much in gold materials and then a buff comes for extra mats from prospecting. Yeah, exactly. You imagine you spend like 200k on buying like ore the first couple of days, prospect ore to try and craft those legendaries, and then like 2 days later you could have got double, triple, quadruple the amount of materials for the same ore. You'd be really, really annoyed. But I'm going to go grab a drink quickly, guys. Back in 2 minutes. Howdy, howdy. How we doing? Let's do some catch up. In order to craft level 4 legendary, do I need the previous rank 1 to 3? Or can I craft at level 4 right away if I have the mats? No, unfortunately you do need to craft, 10 rank 1s to unlock rank 2. You then need to craft 20 rank 2s to unlock rank 3. And then you need to craft 20 rank 3s to unlock rank 4. So yeah, it gets really expensive real quick. If you think crafting the first 10 legendaries is going to be expensive, that's maybe only 10% of the actual cost. It's going to, yeah, rough. I think. Oh, where's my spreadsheet? We can look at it exactly. So we'll just take cloth for an example, because cloth's actually the cheaper one. It's likely to cost you somewhere in the region of 50k to craft all of your rank 1s. but by the time that you get to be able to have crafted enough rank 3s to unlock rank 4, you're going to have spent over 400k. So yeah, crafting your rank 1 legendaries, even crafting 10 of them, is roughly only 10% of the actual price it's going to cost you to get to rank 4. It sounds painful, but we must do what must be done. Yeah. And the reason I showed you the cloth crafting ones is because the cloth ones are going to be the cheapest by far. My estimation of cost for each rank 1 legendary cloth item. So say you're a priest, for example, and you want to craft your own legendaries. It's going to cost you 5,000 gold to make your first one, but then you're going to need to craft 10 of those to be able to unlock rank 2. Each rank 2 is going to set you back about 7,500 gold. And rank 3, each rank 3 is going to cost you about 11,000 gold to craft. Is the spreadsheet only for tailoring? How about blacksmithing? You want blacksmithing? Here's blacksmithing. Plate Lego gear. Estimation on, like I said, these prices are only estimates. The only thing we know is that arboreal shards are 1,000 gold. You're looking at about 6,000 gold to craft as it stands currently for blacksmithing. Blacksmithing is likely going to be more expensive. Isn't crafting all those Legos going to drive down the price if everybody out there is 20 rank 2 Legos on the auction house? It'll be flooded. Unfortunately, that could be the case, but we don't know. Because you can upgrade the legendary that you already have. So if you buy a rank 1 legendary and you put your power onto it, there is a way, we don't know how yet, but there is a way to increase the rank of that gear without having to buy another base legendary item. So yeah, it's difficult to say because we don't know. You need so much of the rare ore. Well, interestingly, the Elithium ore doesn't actually appear to be that rare. I imagine the Elithium ore is going to cost roughly the same amount as one of the zone specific pieces of ore. Where'd you get the arboreal shards? Profession vendor? Yeah, most trade vendors or profession vendors will seem to have them for sale. There's a whole bunch of NPCs that sell them, but they're 1,000 gold a piece. But if you think that these are expensive, look at the price of jewel crafting. If you want to make a legendary ring, base legendary ring, it would not surprise me if you're looking at 100,000 gold a piece. So the cost for a jewel crafter to be able to craft a rank 4 legendary ring is going to be somewhere in the region of 6.5 million gold. More than your long boy. And you're going to need over 3,000 essences to do it. And 6,200 essences in total. Can't seem to find any info in which zones have certain ores. You get Solarium, is it Solarium, Solanium, or from Bastion. Aldraxis has, I want to say Oxane ore. Revendreth I can't remember. I can't remember the 4 off the top of my head. Sounds like alchemy has it easy in Shadowlands compared to the legendary crafts. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, but the thing that alchemy is going to have the issue that it's competing with inscription for materials. Lots of people it seems to be that everybody wants to be a scribe. You only need to spend a few minutes looking through the WoW forums or the WoW economy subreddit or something like that to find out that everybody wants to be a scribe, because they saw the gold rush that happened with Dark Moon cards. So actually alchemy, although it's going to be easy for them to level and to make their items, the cost of the herbs is going to be quite expensive to begin with. It wouldn't surprise me if we see sort of flasks, the DPS flasks going for like 3,000 to 4,000 gold. 6 million gold for one ring. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? But the problem is that nobody will pay that because you are not forced into... for example, when you look at the legendary powers, so let's load up the powers. I know I'm on a hunter, it doesn't matter what class you are, but if the best legendary power that I wanted was Call of the Wild, for example, I can actually put this power on either braces or rings. So if I get the chance to put it on braces, because the base legendary item, the base legendary bracer could be 10,000 gold, but a base legendary ring could be 100,000 gold. Which one am I going to choose? I'm going to choose the bracer because it's cheaper. Duh. And this is the issue that jewel crafters may have. That it's going to cost them a stupid amount of gold to craft the legendaries in the first place. And then they're going to have the difficulty of selling them simply because people will choose the alternative because it's cheaper. 6 million gold is about 800 bucks in real money. Yep. But the thing to note with jewel crafting is it looks bad. It looks really, really bad. But you have to remember that the only way to get the essences is by prospecting. If you deliberately prospect to get essences, you are also getting a boatload of gems. Now, of course, you're going to do stuff with those gems. You're going to craft them into gems that you can sell. You're going to craft them into jewelry. For leveling, you're going to craft them into level 60 gear. There's lots of stuff you're going to do with it. So you're going to recuperate a lot of the cost by selling your gems. And the rest of the profession is going to cover that. These numbers for jewel crafting are simply based on the fact that essences from prospecting is super, super rare as it stands at the moment. I prospected like 1,500 ore, I think it was, roughly, yesterday, and got maybe 10 essences in total. There's going to be a big change, but I don't know what it's going to be. Hopefully it's just an increased amount of essences that you get from prospecting. In terms of stacking powers, no, can't stack powers. You're only allowed one legendary item equipped at any time. That's not to say that people aren't going to want to craft multiple legendaries. This is another thing. That arguably, eventually, most people are going to want access to all of the legendary powers, at least 2 or 3 of them. Raiders are likely to want 2 or 3 different legendaries because one legendary might be better in an AoE situation, one legendary might be better in a single target situation. That's 2 as an absolute minimum. So although you can only have one legendary equipped, there is the strong likelihood that people will want to craft multiple of them. But I really need to actually do some farming. Need to test out leatherworking and see if we've got any hope. Maybe I'll do a timer. Let's bring that over here a bit. Where am I going? I'm running in the wrong direction. Perhaps this explains the relic shuffle. It's going to cause gold inflation. This is where they want the gold to go. Well, actually, the way that the arboreal shards have been implemented, the arboreal shards seem to be Blizzard's gold sink. That seems to be Blizzard's way to take gold out of the system. And unfortunately, I have a really strong feeling that Blizzard will squish this relic shuffle really quickly. All they need to do is change the vendor price of brown linen pants from 50 gold down to 25 gold or to 18 gold, and all of a sudden the entire shuffle is completely broken. I don't think this relic shuffle thing will last for the duration of pre-patch. Once the game goes live, I reckon they'll bin it off. Had to leave for a few minutes, so can you choose any power to any piece? Not any power to any piece, but each power gives you the option of 2, maybe 3 pieces it could go on. So yeah, there's no reason you'd buy a base neck or ring if they're costing 100,000 gold each, when you could buy the braces or the chest piece that's 20,000 gold each. Yeah, I think it's at least 2 pieces. Some legendary powers have 3. Bought 40,000 gold worth of linen yesterday. The fortunate thing is that people are only gambling with very small amounts of gold. Each linen cloth, if you're buying it for 1 to 2 gold, if you're buying rune cloth for 1 to 2 gold, you're gambling with small amounts. You're not gambling with huge amounts of gold on this. So even if they do completely break it, it's not going to be the end of the world. But yeah, I don't know. Where is... It's the caves we have to run through here, isn't it? If I remember right. I'm just trying to really actually remember to do some skinning. So I'm meant to be testing things. Must have ranged weapon equipped. What? Where did my ranged weapon go? Who stole my bow? I don't have a weapon. Blizzard? Are you taking the piss? Now, if we was on Twitch, I'd say clip it, because that is ridiculous. I logged on, and Blizzard had stolen my bow. Have they removed the PvP weapons? Are you mad? Fuck's sake. If anything, they'll remove the relic slot from the linen pants. Yeah, I mean, it's literally a 2-minute job by any random developer to completely crush this whole relic flipping system. And honestly, it's whereas this relic flipping business is going to create a vendor shuffle that will net you, say, 20,000 gold an hour, maybe, depending on how cheap you've been able to acquire your materials. Simply in like crafting time and vendoring time and this sort of business. When we hit Shadowlands, 20,000 gold an hour, people aren't going to bother with 20,000 gold an hour farms. there will be 50, 70, 100,000 gold an hour farms. So why would you do a 20,000 gold an hour farm? It's just, you know. Did I try disenchanting crafting gear? Can it be profitable? I doubt it's going to be super profitable, but it will likely be more profitable than vendoring it. So having access to an enchanter is going to be worthwhile. Whoa! They've changed leather. They've changed skinning! Boys and girls, they've done it. They've changed skinning. Ah, I knew it was coming. They've changed skinning. I knew there was good reason that I didn't put out my skinning video. We're now getting heavy desolate leather on the regular. We're getting 10 desolate leather per skin. 7 desolate hides. No scraps no more, people. No scraps. Straight up materials. Now we're talking. Now we are talking. Now the question is how many hides, heavy desolate hides, are we going to get our hands on? Because that's ultimately the big one. And I've spent 3 or 4 days on a druid and I all of a sudden can't remember how to play my hunter. Oh, have I disconnected? No, we're good. So, let's move this over so you guys can actually see it. I know I do this every single stream. I'll put it here and make it a bit bigger. What she said. There we go. You guys should be able to at least now see the materials we get. Oh, but this is big. Time to check herbing and mining. You know it. I was deliberately reluctant to put out my skinning guide. A heavy desolate hide. We've had one within the first 2 minutes. Maybe my ranting and raving about it being broken. Maybe Blizzard listened. So that was all out the first cave. This is a huge increase. How am I in combat? What am I in combat with? Can't remember where the caves are. Here's one. Ah, yes, this is the one that has 2 things to do. I do not have a pet. Why do I not have a pet all of a sudden? What is going on? Oh, I'm going to die. I'm dead. For God's sake. This is what happens when I don't pay attention. I got too excited that they've actually changed stuff. Maybe if I try not to pull the entire map this time. Right, well that's maybe going to be my plan for the weekend then. I'll do some I'll re-go over some of my skinning spots. Because now it seems to be that we're going to get exponentially more leather than we did previously. Two heavy desolate leather. Heavy desolate hide. They seem to be considerably easier to get our hands on. Heavy desolate hide. Ah, yes, they've changed it, boys and girls. Panic over. Panic over. Right, so I need to do a little bit of a test to see, to try and get a recalculation on what I predict my material costs are going to be. Heavy desolate hide times 6. Heavy desolate. This feels better. This feels much better. Oh, we can do the upstairs area in this bit as well, don't we? Hello, game. Getting some serious lag spikes. Heavy desolate. 11 heavy desolate leather. 10. Big numbers. Big numbers. Now, I'm wondering to myself how much of my leatherworking overview and how much of my leatherworking guide were based on old material values now. Because the last thing I want to do is have videos out there that people watch with wrong information in. Oh my god, the lag spikes are ridiculous. Okay, this has made quite a dramatic difference already. I'm already starting to get a feel for what the new prices are likely to be. Considering we're getting 2 heavy desolate leather for a lot of these skins, and 2 heavy desolate leather is the equivalent of 20 regular desolate leather. We're actually getting less regular than we are. The ratio is... in fact, looking at it so far, the ratio looks a little bit more balanced. I'll probably do 20 minutes, half an hour of skinning so that we can get a good amount of materials. And then we'll be able to sort of put together some more accurate potential prices. Oh, I didn't mean to pull you, big ugly bug. $11 pieces of leather. It's not bad, is it? Why can't I get in there? Is that not an actual cave? So, who out there has access to the beta and wants to go do some herbing and mining? As if you happen to be in the EU, I would absolutely love to have some. I would love for some people to trade me some ore because I need to do some prospecting. Because getting two heavy desolate leather is the equivalent of basically getting 20 regular desolate leather from a single skin, which is I would actually say that's now double the drop rates than what we've had before. Meaning that this one skinning spot is probably good for like 2,000 2,000 leather an hour, I would say. I'm playing on the Torghast server for most of my characters. Blizzard's never blessed you with the honour. Yeah, it's a shame. I wish it wasn't so random. I wish there was like something you could actively do to get access to the beta. I mean, I hate to say it, like. But even something as simple as like pre-order Shadowlands or upgrade your account to Shadowlands and get access to the beta. It's like they did that in the past with oh shit, there's a rare here. What was it? They was it when Legion launched? They bundled it in with Diablo 3. Oh my god. It's crazy lag spikes this morning. This thing's taking its sweet ass time to die though. Oh, it's because it's doing this reflective shell business. It's classed as magic, isn't it? I should be trank shotting this, but I don't even have trank shot on my bars because I'm a terrible person. Trank shot. Let's put you there. For when you do that again. Nope. Is it PvP realm? I have genuinely no idea. The servers on beta, some of them only allow you to create certain types of characters. Some servers are like, one of the servers is specific for leveling. I can't remember which ones though. Come on, this big bug is taking forever. There we go. Dead at last. What did we actually get from it? Apparently nothing. Fine. Just a big waste of time. What else is skinnable? You're skinnable. And probably you. Oh yeah, another heavy desolate hide. So that's like that's the 5th heavy desolate hide we've got in like 15 minutes now. This is feeling a little bit more like what you would hope it to be. Because it's starting to now feel like the heavy desolate hide is, we're going to get it on a somewhat similar level to the, what is it called? The is it lightless silk? Or light weave silk or something? Still struggle to remember all of the material names. Another heavy desolate hide. Another heavy desolate hide, so that was 2 just off 1 pull. Oh, I missed one over here, look. I'm not going to waste my time trying to kill all these. I just bounce between the caves. Hopping between the caves is arguably the best way to get stuff going. Oh dear God, I do appear to have pulled everything though. Oh, these lag spikes are terrible. Okay. This is looking good. You're doing classic mining to level up on your druid. Why the hell is copper ore more expensive than bars? I have no idea. There is often some weird stuff that happens like that. Mainly because actually one of the methods for leveling up like vanilla mining is to buy a load of ore and then turn it into bars, because you get skill points you get skill points for it. So it's likely that any copper ore actually sells quite well for people trying to level up mining quickly. Yet then nobody actually has any reason to use the bars for anything, so they end up on the auction house really cheap. That would be my guess. So bearing in mind that previously, I think I did maybe 4 or 5 hours worth of skinning, maybe even more. And I think I had maybe 10 heavy desolate hide in total drop. I've now been very casually skinning for 20 minutes and I've already got 11. So it's a significant bump in drop rates. Especially considering that once you get to the point where you're trying to craft the legendaries, you really don't care about many other materials apart from the heavy desolate hide. This is good though. This not only reduces the expenditure for leather workers, it actually makes the profession way more viable because it's going to bring the price of both mail and leather gear down, which means nothing more than you're going to sell more of it. And it needed to be brought in line with both cloth and mining, cloth and plate. Sorry. Let's just hope they've done something to jewel crafting. The problem is I prospected all of my ore yesterday, so now I don't have any. Don't knock me off my mount, don't knock me off my mount. Are you going to redo your best profession video? Well, arguably, my opinions have not really changed. I'm still strongly of the opinion that since you can create both leather and mail legendary items with leatherworking, it's still S tier. It's still considerably better than tailoring or blacksmithing, because you've got double the potential options. You've got double the potential like people to buy your stuff, and now not only if you're a skinner and a leather worker, you can be somewhat self-sufficient. You can skin all of your materials that you need, and still make a hell of a lot of gold selling the gear that you craft. I feel it's going to be one of the most profitable combinations after maybe herbing and mining. But it's always like when it comes to ranking the professions, I think I said it a few times in the video, it's always really difficult because people like to play the game in different ways. I mean, it's not even arguably, it's like objectively better to not farm materials, because you should be buying the materials and selling the items, and spending less time doing so. You can craft a bunch of items and buy the materials you need, craft a bunch of items, and then put them on the auction house. And that should arguably take you 20 minutes, half an hour a day. And you could easily make hundreds of thousands of gold doing that. Farming is objectively less profitable from every angle. But people still do it because there's no risk involved. And the more risk you remove, the more advantageous it's going to be to a lot more people. How fast do you think you can get revered with Court of Harvesters? I've not really looked into the professions the reputations needed in enough detail. But revered is usually something that you can get. I mean, you'll get to honoured arguably just by leveling. Especially if you take the easy way of leveling. So from getting to honoured to revered is not going to take you more than a few days, maybe a week. Oh, because the leatherworking pattern's locked behind it. Yeah. Revered is usually not an issue. Most players can get any profession they need to revered very quickly. You get honoured usually just by doing the quests when leveling, and then from what is it? You need 12,000 rep or something like that to get from honoured to revered, or is it only 6,000 rep? I can't remember. It's really not a lot. Revered comes really quickly. The grind is revered to exalted. It's when stuff gets locked behind exalted, then it takes time, and it's something you should be sort of somewhat concerned about. But if you need revered, revered's easy. Revered just comes somewhat naturally from leveling. Now obviously if you want to do it on an alt and you don't want to do anything, then you've got a problem on your hands, but arguably just play the game. Except at launch, it's better to farm as you level at launch. If you then sell those materials on day one, then yes. There's rarely a time where launch day is not crazy for materials. Launch day is a funny one though, because launch day you'll often sell stuff for a ridiculously high price, but you won't sell much of it. It's the next couple of days where things can get a little bit crazy, because the price kind of comes down, the price sort of stabilizes a little bit after a couple of days. But what you then start find is when people start leveling the professions, they will be buying like hundreds if not thousands of materials in one go, assuming they're there to be bought. I must admit, the first week of an expansion is arguably the best time of an expansion. And I'm still somewhat uncertain to how I'm going to approach the start, because I want to multi-box. I want to level my hunters. The issue I have is I can't stream if I do it, and I would want to stream it, which is leading me to potentially just level a single character and stream it, and then in my own time do the multi-boxing on the rest of the accounts. But I don't know. Do you reckon I should sell all my materials at launch or use them to level up the professions since I have all of them? It's up to you. I mean, just think about it. If you say you gather up a entire stack of Leystrite ore, if you can sell that stack of Leystrite ore for 50k on the first day, but then 3 days later that same 50k could buy you 3 stacks of ore, what's the right answer? It's difficult, because there really isn't a right answer. Now, how long? We've almost done our half hour. We're getting close to the point where I'm going to call it and do some counting of materials to see what's changed. A couple more pulls, I reckon. Zen 3 will be out by then, so you might want to consider that. I'm not really in the position right now to be doing many PC upgrades. Since if I change my processor, I'll need to change my motherboard as well, which there's a Jesus, choked on my own tongue. There's the likelihood that if I do an upgrade, I'll need to do a big upgrade. and the fact that the new graphics cards are out, which means I'd want one of those. It gets expensive quite quickly. I'm now actually killing things faster than they're respawning. This is the problem. If I do on one character, then you can choose quest zones, 1 quests on the 8 alts. Yeah, it's... Blizzard haven't given too much detail to whether... When they talk about alts, they're talking always assuming that you just play on 1 account. Now, of course, to multi-box you play on 8 accounts. It's all on 1 Battle.net account, but they are still considered 8 accounts. So the likelihood is you would need to do the linear leveling on each of the accounts at least 1 time, which is why I wanted to do 8 hunters first, because that will get the linear leveling out the way, and it will also give me 8 hunters. And what's not to like about having 8 hunters? If I only level up 1 character on 1 account, there may still be 7 other accounts where I still have to do the linear leveling process. Do it piecemeal, that's what I did when I was a student. Yeah, I know. I'm just not good at... if I upgrade my PC, I upgrade my PC entirely. Because otherwise you just move the bottleneck from one place to another. If I upgrade my CPU, then it will be my graphics card that will be the bottleneck. If I upgrade my graphics card, then the CPU will be the bottleneck. You need to kind of keep it somewhat balanced. Especially if you're trying to multitask. If I'm trying to run 8 World of Warcraft clients, stream in 1080p at 60 FPS, have Google Chrome open with more than 3 tabs, all of a sudden you realise all of your system resources are being sucked up in one go. Yeah, mounts, Pathfinder achievements and that sort of stuff is Battle.net wide. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to put myself in a situation where I level 1 hunter on 1 account, and then go to try and level the other 8 hunters, the other 7 hunters, and realise that I have to do the linear leveling process with those as well, because they're considered separate accounts, even though they're all connected to the same account. I don't know. That's something we probably won't know the answer to until the game goes live and we get to test it. But we now have some materials to look at. We, in a very, very, very basic 30-minute test of doing some skinning, let's get rid of the meats. We don't care about the meats, although we probably will care about the meats eventually. Just not now. We picked ourselves up almost 500 regular desolate leather. Let's stagger it out in rarity. So regular desolate leather, we got almost 500 of it. If I was actually concentrating on what I was doing, you'd probably easily get 500 leather. Then heavy desolate leather, we got almost an entire stack of it, which is the equivalent of 2,000 regular leather if you were to upskill it. We got over 100 desolate hide, 22 heavy desolate hide, and then 80 pallid bones. So it does appear that sinew business is a material that they've removed from the game, which is nice. There was almost too many bits and pieces. But if we double these materials, we're looking at roughly 1,000 desolate leather an hour, 400 heavy desolate leather, 200 desolate hides, and about between 40 to 50 heavy desolate hides. So it means realistically you're actually able to craft, you're getting enough heavy desolate hide now to, if you were to go out and farm it yourself, to be able to make between 1 and 2 legendary items an hour. That's actually really quick. So based on those numbers, what do we think I don't think my pricing for Desolate Leather I don't think has changed. Where's my spreadsheet? Just go away. Let's look at leather. So I know some of the numbers are hidden behind my camera for the moment, but I need to see 2 screens at once. Now, Desolate Leather, if we get about 1,000 leather an hour, and they're 20 to 25 gold a piece, that's 25,000 gold an hour, just from Desolate Leather, which sounds about right. Maybe it's going to be a bit cheaper than that. Maybe it's going to be 20 gold for the first while, dropping down to like maybe 15. You've always got to remember though that Desolate Leather is always more expensive than cloth by about 50%, because multiple characters can loot cloth off the same mob. Only one person can skin a mob, which always makes leather more expensive. The enchanted, well, let's say the heavy Desolate Leather is now arguably going to be quite a bit cheaper. And to think that you only need like 5 of it to craft a single legendary item, you're really not going to need that much of it. And we got 200 of it in just half an hour. What else is going to use all of this heavy Desolate Leather that we're farming up? Because as far as the legendaries are concerned, this heavy Desolate Leather is going to be super cheap. If there's not enough things to use it, it'll be super cheap. So professions, leatherworking. What actually uses the heavy Desolate Leather? So it's going to be the level 60 gear, uses 10 of it. So actually, with the drop rates as they are now, heavy Desolate Leather is going to get tanked in price. Desolate Leather will be more valuable. People, because I was able to get, I reckon if you pushed, you'd get 500 heavy Desolate Leather in an hour, and you only need 10 of it to craft a single level 60 piece. Drums only need 3 of them, and you can create one out of 10 leather. But I don't think it's ever going to be 10 times the price of a regular Desolate Leather anymore. So I would actually go as far as saying the demand, the ease of farming the heavy Desolate Leather now is probably more than what the demand will be for it. Because when you're creating the level 60 gear, you're still probably going to be limited by the heavy Desolate Hide, more so than you are the 12 pieces of heavy Desolate Leather you need. So, spreadsheet. I'm going to go as far as to say that these are going to be, at best, 100 gold a piece. Probably 60, 70 gold a piece pretty quickly, I'd imagine. Let's go 75 for ease of. Heavy Desolate Hides are probably not, since we get a whole bunch of them, if we get 50 an hour, and we get 50 in an hour, if we push, and let's say they're 200 gold a piece, does that sound about right? That's 10k gold an hour from the hides, 20k gold an hour, that's 30k gold an hour, 35k gold an hour from skinning. Yeah, that sounds about right. I reckon the heavy Desolate Hides are going to be about 200 gold a piece. With their new increased drop chance, I'd imagine they're going to be quite a bit cheaper. Meaning the enchanted version of it is probably only going to be 220 gold, maybe 250 gold. So now that's putting by these presumptuous numbers, it's creating a crafting cost of nearly 10,000 gold for each legendary. That is about what I expected. Yeah, that seems to bring it more in line. If we look at what was cloth, for example. Cloth is always cheaper, and I've explained why cloth is always cheaper, because cloth is easier to acquire. And it's super multi-box friendly. Cloth is always cheaper. So clothware is always going to get niced. So 5k to make roughly 5k to make a cloth legendary item. When we get to leather, it's going to be more expensive because leather's more expensive. It's about 10k a piece. Sounds about right. Considerably better than the roughly 16,000 gold it was before these changes came into place. Let's make the changes to the Mayon gear. Pallid bones, I reckon they're actually going to stay about the same price. We got as many bones as we got heavy desolate hide, half as many bones as we got. So maybe the bones are going to be a little bit more required still. We still got enough to make 5 legendaries out of them though. If the words that come out my mouth don't make sense, I apologise. I'm kind of just brain dumping. But the bones are used in drums as well. They're used in level 60 gear. That will maintain the price of the bones nicely. Heavy desolate leather and the pallid bones, I think, are roughly going to end up being about the same price. I think they're going to be about the same price. The fact that they're used in the weapons and as well. Not ever in huge quantities though, mind. Bones are likely to be about the same price as the heavy desolate leather. So let's say 75 gold. Feels about right. We said our enchanted heavy desolate hide is going to come down. I'm changing the wrong sheet. Enchanted heavy desolate hide, we said, what was it going to be? About 250 now, we think. Maybe 250. The heavy desolate hide. We have a price for that. Heavy desolate hide I thought to be about 200. Heavy desolate leather, what did we say, like 70 or something? Heavy desolate leather, 75. And regular desolate leather, we came to the conclusion it's going to be about 20. So yeah, there we go. That's bringing both leather and mail crafted base legendaries to about 10k a piece for rank 1s. Is it worth it to level with skinning, or should I switch to mining whilst leveling? I already have my mindset on herbing for the other. It's really up to you. I can't really. The way that most. You may have seen a minute ago I was basing everything around a 35k gold an hour total. Most of the time, you would expect a good farming spot at the beginning of an expansion to net you about 35,000 gold worth of materials in an hour in total. Yes, if the prices on your server are good, it may be 40, 50k an hour. If your prices are really bad, it may go down to 20k gold an hour. But that's 35k gold an hour for farming is roughly where I think it will sit. That means that people going out there farming can make money, make good gold off the materials. The people that buy the materials to then craft the items are going to sell them to a point where they will then also make about 20 to 30k gold off the materials that they buy. So whether you should go with skinning or with I don't know. If you're literally just going to sell everything, mining is probably still a better route to go, because blacksmiths are going to need all of your stuff, and also jewel crafters. And as we know, jewel crafters love to prospect ore. Jewel crafters will buy thousands of ore in a single go just for the purpose of prospecting and to restock. Whereas skinning, their only real customer are leather workers. So yeah, I don't know. It's really up to you. The first week skinning might be these zones might be heavily farmed. So that sort of that golden 35k gold an hour is based upon you being able to run around and skin everything. If you've got 2-3 other people trying to skin in the same spot, then all of a sudden those prices get halved or like quartered. Whereas 8 people, or is it 8? Is it 10? I think 10 people can hit the same node and all get ore from it. So competition is really not so much of a thing, unless of course a multi-boxer swoops in and takes 8 of them, and then the node disappears from you. But if you're literally just going to dump and sell everything, herbing and mining, it's almost a no-brainer. Because you've got alchemists and scribes that are going to want your herbs, and you've got blacksmiths and jewel crafters that are going to want your ore. 4 big professions. Skinning is really good if you are a leather worker as well, because you become self-sufficient. Okay, well, I definitely think I need to do an updated video on skinning, considering they've changed it. But the numbers feel good though now. The amount of materials that we've picked up feels kind of balanced. It feels pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how these are sitting. This is kind of what I expected us to land at. Herbs I think I'll hold on to since prices will not fall quickly. I mean, it's almost one of those things that any basic ore, if you pick up lacerite or you pick up death blossom, the basic stuff, sell the basic stuff, but just keep the rare stuff, because the rare stuff is by nature rare and by nature going to hold its price more effectively. The basic stuff will fluctuate quite a lot in the first week. So I mean, just sell the basic stuff and get what you can get for it. But if you pick up any like the oh my god, my brain's failing me. The is it nightshade? Night bloom? I don't know, whatever the anchor weed is. If you pick up any of those, I would definitely look at holding on to those and using them in your own professions. But ultimately, it all depends on how much you value your own time. If you're happy to spend 3 hours a day farming, you can probably make 100k gold by doing it. But if you don't want to spend 3 hours farming, but still want to make 100k gold, you're going to have to buy a lot of materials. You're probably going to have to spend 70k gold to make 170k gold with professions. So you've got, if you go the route of just purely crafting, you have to invest something into it first, and if you're not investing time, you have to invest gold. How do you rate a single piece of leatherworking equipment we need to make our legendary? Will it what? How do you rate a single piece of leatherworking equipment we need to make our legendary? Will it be more beneficial? I genuinely don't know what you mean by that. Thought on PvPers having to play with 2 PvP trinkets, thus reducing the amount of Dark Moon decks sold. Unless you're on a very heavy PvP server, I don't think that's going to affect. I think if you were to take a pie chart of all of the people that play World of Warcraft, heavy PvPers is actually quite a small chunk. I would say probably only 20-30% of all of the people that play this game are like what you would consider heavy PvPers, or people that would actively seek out having 2 PvP trinkets. You've still got plenty enough people that are going to do world questing, casuals, raiders, M+ers that are likely all to want the Dark Moon cards. I don't really think it's going to have any issue. There'll be more of an issue if the Dark Moon cards just suck. if the procs on them are just, well, they're not even procs now, are they? They're 3-minute on use. If the Dark Moon trinkets just resulted, when people do the simming, if the sims say that the Dark Moon decks aren't BIS or aren't close to BIS, then we've got way more of a problem on our hands. But I think we need to do some herbing and mining, because if they've changed the drop rates on skinning today, there's a good chance that they've changed the drop rates on herbing and mining as well, and possibly even prospecting and milling. So I need to gather some more. I need to do a little bit of herbing and mining. Maybe half hour, maybe an hour. We'll see. I don't particularly want to spend all day farming again. There we go. Skinalicious. We make legendaries with simple gear first. We need a simple piece of gear and then convert it into a legendary. If rather than selling the leather, we sell that single piece of gear. Oh, the base legendary items. Yeah, I mean, you need a... You craft the base legendary item, and then you take the base legendary item, you add 2 missives to it, which dictate the secondary stats that you want on that legendary, and you also then have to add the legendary power. You take all of that to the rune carver, use, what is it, 100 or so soul ash that you get from Torghast, and then you get that legendary item. Okay, do I have any materials on me? Not a lot. Let's send them over to another character though, just to empty our bags of materials completely so we can start fresh. Alrighty, so now we can do a couple of laps of Bastion and see if any of the... if anything has changed. Luckily I've farmed out in Bastion enough that I kind of know where all of the nodes are and roughly what they should spawn. So it should be quite quick and easy to see if anything's changed.
I have received reports of wildlife wreaking havoc nearby.
I mean, there's always strong argument to say that crafted gear should always sell at a better price than the materials themselves, but it depends on competition. If there's if say for example there's 20 different leather workers on your server, there's actually arguments to say that you should sell the materials and let the other 19 leather workers fight it out. But if you're the only leather worker on your server that has access to rank 4 legendary items, then yeah, you should craft them and sell them. So we got 5 ore and 2 stone, and we got between 2 and 3 death blossom for the herbs. So, at least at first glance, it doesn't appear that there's any changes to the drop quantities on herbing and mining. But let's pick up a few more nodes. Throw a timer up so I can keep track of how long I've actually been doing it for. But guys, if the stream is helpful to you, if you're enjoying it, I see a lot of regular faces in the chat at least. please shout up, ask your questions if you've got them. Make sure you locate that like button. Make sure you hit that. Definitely helps my channel out a lot. And of course, if it's interesting enough for you to value subscribing, then please go ahead. What have we got up here? Oh, Nightshade. Now, previously we would only ever get 1 or 2 Nightshade per node. 2 Nightshade and a Petal. Weird that we got a Petal, but sure. This is a new node as well. This node hasn't been here before. 7 Solinum ore. Slightly higher than normal. But it could have just been a good luck node. I have had 7 off a single one before. 3 Death Blossom. Feels normal. What we got up here? Lay Strike Deposit. 4 to 7 is about what we'd expect off the Lay Strike. 7. At least a couple of you liked the stream, so thank you very much if that was you. Now, if you're out doing mining and herbalism in Bastion, avoid the will of jumping down into these chasms to pick stuff up, unless something like this happens when it's a rich Elithium node. If it's a rich Elithium node, you go get it. But most of the time, if it's just a regular node, avoid jumping down, because the time it takes you to get back to where you start. Oh, that's not a node. That's a that's a turtle. Often you jump down these cliffs and get stuck in these caverns, and it takes ages to get back onto your route. Shit, the bed. That was 17 Elithium ore. That was a rich node though, which is actually kind of what it was before, so that seemed alright. Still petals. Yeah. I think they went with a low amount to start with. Maybe the case. Turtle didn't make it to the water. No, he didn't. This is a new node though. Rich Elithium one.
I must get closer.
Mr. Khan, I appreciate. Thank you very much. Glad it's helpful for you. Now, where is this rich Lay Strike node? How far down do I have to go? Oh, you know if I go down there, I'm not going to get back up. I should really listen to my own advice, you know. Yeah, I knew we wouldn't get... Oh, we can go back up this way. Some redemption. So how do we get up here? First glance though, guys, it doesn't look like there's been any changes to herbalism or mining. I think we just... There was obviously a big overhaul with leatherworking. They were obviously aware that leatherworking was in a bad spot, and obviously if you change leatherworking you kind of need to change skinning, so that it all balances. And that's what their emphasis seemed to have been on this week, which is good to see. Let's just hope that if we do some prospecting of these ore, that we get some better results. I mean, if I can get my hands on a stack or two of Lay Strike, we should be able to do some more prospecting. But I'm cautious that I don't want my entire stream to be just farming on the beta. Unless, of course, it's helpful, and then why not? There's usually a bunch of stuff around here. So alchemy still has transmutation. Seems 1 day cooldown, 1 of Shadowghast ingots. Do you know if this has a chance to proc if you have the transmutation mastery? Ooh, good question. Real good question. Honestly, not tested. But I could always send my transmute master over and see what happens. As I actually don't think that the transmute for Shadowghast ingot, I don't think is a 1 day cooldown. I think it's repeatable. But equally, to do some testing, I need more ore, as we've already established is time consuming. There's no reason to say that the being a transmute master wouldn't increase, because I mean, why else would you be a transmute master? Another nightshade, 3 nightshade, and a petal still. Why do we still get petals? The fact that I'm still getting petals really indicates to me that there's been no changes to this. Will there be enough masochists to have prospect mill DE rates before launch? Unlikely, unless somebody with, unfortunately, a larger audience than mine has the ability to sort of you need data from multiple different people to have any chance of that happening. There's a guy that some of you may or may not know, goes by the name of Billis Anixia. He's always very much into his milling rates and prospect rates and that sort of stuff, and I believe he's been doing testing on the beta. I don't know what his results are. He's easily found on Twitter though, and he pops his head in occasionally on the WoW economy subreddit, and spends a lot of time on Twitch. Actually, I don't think he streams himself, but he's kind of pretty active in other people's streams. Based on Wowhead, it's a 1 day cooldown. Oh, okay. I've not actually leveled alchemy, so alchemy is one of the only professions I've not leveled so far on the beta, simply because I'm material bottlenecked. Technically, I've still not even finished leveling inscription. I just cannot fight the urge. Like, the amount of herbs that I need, knowing full well that the system is currently broken, and knowing that I'm likely going to have to farm them all up again, is what's preventing me from doing it. But this is what I mean. I don't mind doing all of this testing when the game's live, because at least whatever I get from milling or whatever I get from prospecting, I can make my gold back on. And most of my testing when it comes to the game, I do on live, because I can just throw gold at it. And if I make the gold back, I do. If I don't, I don't. It's no biggie. On the beta, I can't even throw gold at it. So now there's meant to be a node here. Oh, it's above me. Christ. I can tell you for a fact though, even if we don't know like milling rates or prospecting rates before the game goes live, within 2 or 3 days we'll have very, very accurate figures. So, as a quick update, the all of the nodes seem to be spawning in the same locations as they have previously. We don't appear to actually be getting any more materials from herbing or mining. So they've not changed these professions in any way by the looks of things. I'll finish my lap. I'm not going to spend too much time doing this. That was my lap done.
Wildlife wreaking havoc nearby. The anima drought must have driven them into a frenzy. Please restore calm however you can.
The issue's still going to be that when you're running around on foot and not able to fly, herbing and mining just takes so long. You get so little for your effort. But some people find it lethargic. I'm too numbers based. I just see the time pass and the gold that I can potentially make, and I just know that if I was to just buy these materials at their market value and spend 10 minutes crafting, I could make just as much gold, if not more. As it stands currently, arboreal shards are still sold from a vendor. They've not said any different. And I think it will stay that way, to be honest. The fact that the arboreal shard turned up, and you only needed 1 per legendary. But then the week after, we got changes to the quantity of them that is needed. The quantities were adjusted on the legendary items, meaning that they kind of put them out there, and then they've looked at it and they've balanced it, and they're probably going to leave it now. When they make a significant change to something, they usually don't make another significant change. Because I know why spend twice the development time when just do it right the first time? Should be the theory. I mean, I'm not telling Blizzard how to do their job or anything, but that's how it would make sense to me. Implement it in the game, get it there, then balance it. It should be a 2-stage process. Which is what I feel has happened with leatherworking. They implemented it all into the game, and then after a few people like myself have done testing, they've realised that, well, hang on, these numbers are way out of whack. Let's change the drop rates, let's change the materials required, let's do the balancing, and then they'll probably leave it. How do you think it works? It's just a vendor. Just straight up buy it from a vendor. They're not limited in quantity, at least on the beta right now. Do goblins get rep discount for shards? Ooh. That's a theory. It would be nice if we did. Maybe I can create a character that has the ratio of reduced like cost from vendors and see if it changes. Although realistically, I don't think. I suppose they're 1,000 gold a piece. If you get even 10% off them for a racial ability or for having the class exalted, then it'll add up, I suppose, eventually. So have they fixed leatherworking now? Fixed drop rates on the rare hide? Yes, they appear to have. They've rebalanced both leatherworking and skinning to a much more acceptable level. They've actually increased the amount of materials overall that are needed to craft the base legendary items, but they have dramatically increased the drop rate of the leather and the hides and the heavy versions of when you do skinning. So yes, leatherworking and skinning has now had a balance done to it. Yeah, if they've done a rework to leatherworking and skinning, it wouldn't surprise me if we see some other balance changes. But although if I'm being brutally honest, both herbalism and mining feel about right. What doesn't feel right is the prospecting and milling ratios. If we're going to see any changes, I'd expect to see them there. I don't think so. They put the rep discount back on the Vial of the Sands, 29,000 gold worth of mats. Oh, okay. I don't know. It's always very difficult to guess what Blizzard are going to do, because not always are their decisions totally logical. Is there a place where you can find my full stream VODs? I've been asked this a few times, and I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with the VODs. Simply because YouTube is not a platform that's really geared up for live streaming. For a channel to grow on YouTube, which is what I would like my channel to do, obviously, one of the big factors on YouTube is audience retention rate. Now, live streams, or what then become 4 or 5 hour long videos, tend to have terrible audience retention rate as a percentage. The average person sticks around and watches a live stream on YouTube for about 25-30 minutes. Some of you guys are here a bit more, and some of you guys are here a lot less. But unfortunately, if you post full VODs on YouTube, it can actually have a negative effect on the growth of a channel. So I'm not entirely sure what to do. I'm thinking about I might create a second YouTube channel, like Manthieus TV or something like that, and I will just upload the VODs on there, so that they're up and available for people to watch, because I appreciate that the time that I stream is not ideal for a lot of people. A good chunk of any YouTube's channel's audience is from the States, and my streaming schedule for the States is terrible. As I imagine, what time is it now? It's the middle of the night basically in the USA right now, whereas it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon for me. So I'm deciding whether currently all of my VODs are saved. They're just unlisted videos on my channel. So currently, if you follow me on Twitter, every day before I go live, I post the link to the video. Even after the stream is over, the videos are still considered unlisted videos. So if you have the link, you can still watch the video. Only if you have a link. Yeah, I've noticed that Samadan puts his... obviously he streams on Twitch in the first place, which is a little bit different. But he has that second channel, yes, where he just uploads his VODs. So I'm likely going to do something similar. For you guys that may or may not know, my day job is... I'm not going to go too much in detail, but it's basically sales and marketing. And social media marketing at that. Which is why I have strong knowledge of how the YouTube system works. Which is why I'm slightly reluctant to just upload the VODs in full to my main channel. Creating a second channel that is not monetized, a second channel that, whether people watch the videos or not, is either here nor there, is probably the solution I'll go with. But for this channel, I'll stream on this channel. This will always be my main channel, and always has been my main channel. A lot of you guys probably don't know that this channel is about 7 years old. You just don't see a lot of my old videos. It's 4:30 a.m. on the US. Well, there we go. That sort of indicates that my stream schedule is less than ideal for most Americans. Even though my videos, about 50% of the views come from the USA. I'm just wondering if there's anybody watching the stream now that did watch my videos in the past, or whether you're all relatively new to the channel. YouTube does have the tendency to favour a single video over other videos, but YouTube is not unwilling to promote multiple videos if they all have good statistics. As there are some channels out there that can comfortably post 4 or 5 videos a day and also maintain very strong presence on each one of them. I was your first comment on Reddit, so I found me. Yeah. This is what I thought. A lot of people have. I mean, you guys probably have noticed that the channel has like almost 5,000 subscribers, but that was from when I created videos about 4 or 5 years ago. Realistically, I've only gained a few subscribers since I sort of heavily came back to streaming and content creation. With the whole COVID business and me being at home basically 24 hours a day, I was like, well, I might as well get back into it then. It's good fun, I enjoy it. Noob here saw me in the WoW economy. Yeah, a lot of people seem to have found me from the WoW economy thread. The post I did with my quick look videos was very well received over on Reddit, which is where I think a lot of people have found me from. Right, 20 minutes into doing some farming, we seem to be getting virtually exactly the results I'd expect. So I'm pretty confident in saying that we've had no significant changes to herbalism or mining. At least in terms of the gathering rates. We're even getting stupid things like still getting, where is it? We're still getting nightshade petals even though we're max skill, which is a bit bonkers. 155 in herbalism, 155 in mining, yet still getting petals and chunks. It's a bit of an odd one, that, but I feel there will be some balancing done to the gathering rates at least, and I absolutely hope there's changes behind the scenes to prospecting rates and milling rates. Oh, what happened? Who are you? Do I have the gathering enchant? What level enchant do you need to be able to make it profit potential? It's actually one of the very first enchants that you get, which unfortunately means that there won't be much profit to be made, if any, on it, because everybody is likely to craft them when they level enchanting. And it's super cheap to make. But I should have the enchant. Yeah, Shadowlands Gathering. Yeah, I genuinely only think each of the Shadowlands Gathering enchants is, I want to say 3 soul dust. They're really cheap. They'll be 40, 50 gold, no more. And eventually that means, unfortunately, they'll basically be free. Oh my god, the lag on the servers right now is terrible. Does the enchant affect skinning speed too? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Should we find out? We can quite easily find out. I'm about done with herbing and mining. The materials that we're getting is exactly what I was expecting to get. There doesn't appear to have been any changes to these. Are you planning on leveling a jewel gatherer first? Well, my leveling strategy is kind of different to most people's, because when I'm not streaming, I usually will be multi-boxing. But fundamentally, yes, I will probably level herbalism and mining whilst I'm leveling. And then by the time I hit 60 on my first character and start, I'll switch them out to crafting professions, and I'll just be willing to spend the gold buying the materials I need. So who is our skinner? Skinning dog is our skinner. Let's grab a new pair of gloves and go test some skinning. With that enchant, does Dark Moon Fire add anything? Genuinely no idea. And I don't even think I can test that without Dark Moon Fire being up. Is it up? No, we've missed the Dark Moon. I don't think I've got any way to test that. But we can grab another. Have I had my gloves enchanted? I've got the enchant on these gloves as it stands. Let me go grab another pair of gloves then. Oh, I don't need another pair of gloves, do I? I just take them off. It's the easiest way to test. And the fact that they've homogenized the enchants so that it works for everything, it seems to make sense that it should be for skinning as well. But you know, it's always one of those things. Yeah, that's it. I'll just take the gloves off, skin one, and then I'll put the gloves back on and skin it and see if there's any difference. Just send me back to somewhere. I don't care. Send me back to... Yeah, sure, go. Talking all day is thirsty business. I'll be back in 2 minutes, guys. If you need something to do for the next 2 minutes, find the like button, smash it. Howdy, howdy, how we doing? Welcome, welcomes. Now, what were we doing? Oh, we were testing skinning, weren't we? Let's go find something to kill then. You'll do. And you'll do. Let's pull you over this way.
I'm out of range.
Oh, I've gone and pulled a third one. That was not intended. I would be surprised if it doesn't. So let's take the gloves off first. The gloves off. Skin. Pretty quick. The gloves on. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. What if I delete the gloves? Maybe you don't even need them equipped. And that was pretty rapid. Let me kill some more stuff. Kill some more stuff. There's one. There's a bunch of you.
I need to get closer.
It's probably not going to help the fact that the servers are lagging horrendously today. Those might completely destroy my testing. But with the gloves on, you're testing on a character that has a skinning racial. Yeah, you're right. I do have a skinning racial. Yeah. That means the enchant wouldn't make any difference to skinning anyway. Ah, jeez. Okay, that's not as easy to test then, is it? I'll skin them all the same. Okay, we'll try another method. Do I have a character that's not a Worgen? That was a good spot though. I totally forgot about that. We should take screw it, just make a new character. It's the beta. Let's just go human, hunter. Check humans don't have bonus rep. Yeah, sure. Skinning girl. Sure. It does mean we have to fly our ass out there again, which is a pain. But you know, all in the name of testing. Oh my god, add-ons all over the place. Add-ons, disable all, go. Hi there, wasn't aware of the leatherworking changes. Would you still rate it as S tier? Yeah, I still stand by my rating of S tier simply for one reason. The fact that if you compare it against either tailoring or blacksmithing, you have double the amount of things that you can craft, and then on top of that you have double the amount of people that are going to buy. You have twice as many buyers and twice as many things to craft. It's always been considered, at least in my eyes, better than like tailoring or blacksmithing. Is it better than Inscription right now? or is it better than enchanting right now? I'd say from a gold making point of view, probably yes. Because the legendaries are still going to be expensive. I need to head over to the Hall of Shapes, don't I? I need to do a bit of... I need to go pick up skinning for starters. Then I'm going to need the enchant. Is it from here I buy the enchant? Where is it? Bracers. Something, something. Shadowlands Gathering, there we go. Sorry, joined the stream late. Are there leatherworking changes? Yeah, they've done some rebalancing on the materials required for crafting the legendaries, and more importantly, they've changed the drop rates of the cloth. Of the leather, the skinners. So as a combined, they've balanced it all a lot more effectively now. Where is the skinning trainer, and why can't I see anybody's names? Which one is the skinning trainer? Scribe, herbalism, alchemy. I should just zoom in, then I can actually see the names. Leatherworking, here we go. Where's the skinning dude? Skinning trainer. Go. Do I need skinning knife? I genuinely can't remember. I don't think I do. Boreal shard, still 1,000 gold, even though I should have some rep boost, I don't know. So heavy desolate hides drop more now. Yes, considerably more often. Still not so ridiculously often that they won't be expensive. But yes, just more so than they did before. Have to go now. Enjoyed the stream. See you next time. Thanks, Nax. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. Any new glyphs in Shadowlands? Not Shadowlands specific glyphs. There were a few new druid glyphs a couple of weeks ago, I seem to remember. I think it was maybe only 4 glyphs, some flight form glyphs for druids. But in Shadowlands, no, we've not seen any new glyphs. Do we think it's safe now to actually put out a skinning guide? Because I know the spots that are good for skinning. Regardless of how much skin you acquire, the spots are still going to be the same. So I could theoretically put out a skinning guide for the different zones. I'm wondering if I should focus on each zone individually, or whether I should just combine it into one big ass video. People tend not to like big ass videos. People like the short, to the point videos more. Regardless of what YouTube would have you believe, the ideal length of video is about 4.5 minutes. Where's the portal to get down from here? I'll take this one. Honestly, I'd wait till after pre-patch. I'm thinking the same. It's not gonna. The thing is, it's not got any value to people straight away. But yeah, I'll get the content and stuff sorted for it. The only advantage I have of posting it early is I get a algorithm boost for when everybody starts searching for it in a few weeks' time. That's me and my love of statistics more than anything else. So let's kill... Oh my god, all my keybinds key bindings are broken because it's a new character. We've not got the buff. Let's. I'm going to have to click because all of my buttons are in the wrong place, so ignore the clicking. Professional gamer here. I mean, why the hell is multi-shot on Q? That makes no sense. Okay, stuff's dead. Right, skinning. We're going to do some skinning without the enchant. Pay attention. Let's wait for the server lag to disappear. There we go. Off he zooms. Slow ass skinning. Enchant gloves. Fast skinning. Yes. There's your answer. It took me 20 minutes to do it, but yes, there's your answer. The Shadowlands Gathering enchant does also benefit skinning. Even though skinning is arguably not necessarily gathering. There we go. That was a quick and easy test, wasn't it? I like quick and easy tests. Probably never ever going to need this character again, but sure. Oh, what am I doing? Right, well, I think what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to do maybe a quick 20 minutes of just simple Q&A. I'm not going to do anything super interesting on stream because I have commitments I need to keep in about an hour's time. But I'm just going to quickly run through a few of my bank characters and check auctions. So if you guys have got any questions about the beta or anything of that nature, shout now. Oh, this login screen is beautiful. I do like it. I think I'll get bored of this pretty quickly though. Let's go this account first. Oh, you can see all of my. You'll see all of my ugly desktop icons. Skinning will still make G. Yeah, absolutely. The skinning is always very, very good. The only thing you have to contend with when it comes to skinning is only one character can skin one mob, which means if there's multiple people trying to skin in the same zone, it gets a little bit messy a little bit quickly. If you can combat that though, either find different spots to farm that are still profitable. Well, I mean, skinning anything is profitable, but if you plan to do it for a while, or do it at those sort of off hours of the day where most people aren't skinning. If you try going out and skinning on a Saturday afternoon, you're gonna struggle, but 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, then you might have better luck, you know. That's the theory at least. Oh, we sold a T-Booze a few days ago. I didn't even notice that. Will I do another profession guide today? Unlikely today. I've only got a few professions I still need to actually do. I'll put out a leatherworking video later today as like an update video for those that haven't seen the stream. But regarding professions, I've got alchemy I still need to do, which requires me to get a boatload of herbs. I need to do inscription, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do purely because I need a boatload of herbs. What else do I need? Engineering I need to do a guide for. That requires me to get a lot of lay strike, which is more farming. It's a bit difficult for me to do many more of the professions than I've already done. Tailoring, leatherworking, blacksmithing are done. Jewel crafting's done. Enchanting's done. I can do not so much a profession guide for some of the others, but I can do a strategy, a leveling strategy. I don't know how I would do them. They might have to wait till the game goes live, to be honest, but we'll see. If I get the urge to do a whole bunch of farming, then maybe I will do, but we'll have to see. Do you know if multiple legendary memories can be looted on the same character, or if it has a limit per week? I think you're able to get as many legendary memories as you want. The limiting factor is that you are going to be limited by the soul ash that is needed, which you can only get 100 soul ash a week from Torghast, and you need 100 ash to create one legendary at rank 1. As the rank of the base legendary item increases, you need more and more dust each time. It goes from 100 to 200 to 300, then to 400. But there's also the feeling that you're going to need soul ash to upgrade your existing legendaries as well, but we don't know how much yet. What's your feeling of the time that's going to be needed to level up my 8 hunters to 60? Well, I hope to have it done in the first day. I will probably... unfortunately, in the EU, I don't think the game goes live until 1 AM my time, is the launch time, which is really annoying. But there's the probability that on launch day, I just won't go to bed. So, or if I do, I'll do a short sleep. I'll probably get... I hope to have my... Well, this is it. If I stream, it will be a lot slower. Because as you can tell, when I stream, I struggle to multitask. Exactly like I'm doing now. But what's the but in this situation? Yeah, if I plan to multi-box, I'm unlikely to stream it. If I stream it, I will probably only play one character. If I play one character and stream it, I can probably get it done in a couple of streams, 2 days. If I don't stream it and just multi-box it, I can probably get it done in a day. But it does mean, the reason I want a multi-box and the reason I want to get that many characters to 60 quickly is so that I can have access to every profession, and I can make sure that I've actually got solid, accurate guides for each of the professions as well. I'm not even so concerned about making lots of gold. I mean, I will make lots of gold passively just by playing the game a lot, but I'm not out there to camp the auction house like straight away. Is it better to rank up one base item to rank 4 and then try and make as much profit as possible, or diversify by being able to make one, like 2 or 3 more, and then try and get them? I genuinely don't know. It's going to heavily depend on demand. The way that things are looking is that leveling up the base legendary items is going to be really expensive. You're probably only going to want to focus on like one at a time, simply because of the cost. But also you may run into the situation where if there is, say for example, you're a tailor and you're trying to level up, you've got like 8 different base legendary items you can craft. Now you pick the shoulders and you start leveling up. You make 10 shoulders to get to rank 2. Then you find that 3 other tailors on your realm have also chosen shoulders. And then you're in a price war trying to sell all of your shoulders. That's where it's going to be slightly difficult. So I don't genuinely have an exact answer to that one, unfortunately. just check on some of these servers what the price of rune cloth is at the moment. I knew people would be selling rune cloth. What's the deposit? Deposit cost. Ah, yeah, this is the thing with these old materials. Posting them is expensive. Gids165, thanks for the sub. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're enjoying. Nobody on this server seems to have realised that mage weave cloth is going to be valuable. So I will firstly buy these. I'll buy those out. And then I'll repost them. Thanks for the info. Gotta go now. Cool, dude. Thanks for turning up. Been a pleasure. I should probably check the price on linen cloth on this server as well. Might be able to get a cheeky flip on the linen cloth. Let's do linen cloth. People are aware of the linen cloth price, at least. From my point of view, diversification will be important in the first few days because people will try and get to rank 4 ASAP, and rank 1 to 3 will then become non-profitable. As soon as you get rank 4s, then you get your money back. That's likely to be a case. Yes, I do have to agree with that. If you won't be able to do that, then focusing only 1 and getting it to rank 4 and trying to make it in the market with 7 more in a few weeks will probably not be profitable. I do worry because if Blizzard make it too cheap for you to upgrade your existing legendary, we may find that there's an awkward situation where there is so many base legendary items available and just not enough people willing to buy them. That is a high possibility. Especially if we look at the prices of the base legendary items, like cloth ones, for example. The rank 1 cloth item is likely, at least as it stands at the moment, to cost less than 5,000 gold to make a single rank 1. Which, when you think about the fact that a single flask is probably going to be 2,000, 3,000 gold, 5,000 gold is nothing. Meaning that tailors might go, oh, this is not too difficult to level up, and they start leveling all of their items up, and all of a sudden the rank 1s can't sell because people choose to buy a rank 2. I don't know. The whole thing could get real messy. It's really, really difficult to guesstimate what's going to happen without like solid data. Who says there's going to be a system to upgrade the lower level legendaries? It's already in the game. We just don't know what the cost of doing it is going to be. If you go to Torghast, and where you create the legendaries, you take the base item and you add your power to it. There's also an option to upgrade an existing legendary. So there will be some method to upgrade the ones you already have. To what degree or at what cost, we don't know. It's not something we've been able to test in great detail so far though yet. So far though yet? That's not a word. That's not a sentence. Can you see I was farming some tide spray linen not so long ago? This is just to sell on the auction house though. do a quick search for rune cloth. People are aware of what's going on with rune cloth. Let's check mage weave. People are aware of what's going on with mage weave apparently. Let's check linen cloth. People know what they're doing with linen cloth as well. Do a regular post scan then. Where do I farm my tide spray? Whole bunch of places. I mean, where can you not get tide spray from right now? Obviously, bearing in mind that I multi-box, and so I have easier time of farming it than most do. My favourite place to farm it is actually in Darkshore. There's the Nagas in Darkshore spawn fast enough and drop a hell of a lot of tide spray. It's definitely not the best farming spot, not by any stretch of the imagination, but simply for tide spray, it's pretty strong. I'm obviously referring to the current level Darkshore, not the old school Darkshore. Oi, we sold some deep sea satin yesterday as well. Oh, a few days ago actually. I haven't actually checked these characters for a few days, this is the problem. When it comes to retail content right now, I'm quite behind with my retail content. Let's look for rune cloth. People know what they're doing with rune cloth apparently. Linen cloth. Linen cloth's still pretty cheap at the moment. There's a few hundred there, cheap. I mean, I could flip that for another. Buy those out, might as well flip them. Oh, my tide spray, Darkshore is the preferred spot for me. Where is it? It's around this area somewhere. No, where is it? Where Commander Ralesh is, or the Naga here. This is a really strong spot for tide spray. You also get abyssal crystals quite regularly there as well. Which I've been, even on a high pop server right now, I'm selling stacks of 20 abyssal crystals. Still getting 50k for them, which is not bad. Oh, which account was that? Oh, it was this one. Okay, sure. I really need some food. I'm hungry again. I should get into the habit of eating before I stream. Your primals and volatiles sold immediately. Good stuff. There's a lot of people that are like leveling up their old professions and stuff. I mean, considering Samadan is currently leveling like all of the old professions right now, and he's doing it in front of 200 people, 300 people every night. It's incentivizing a lot of other people to do the same. So some of the old profession mats are likely to sell quite well at the moment. Why is a bolt of linen cloth 20 gold? Are you crazy? Well, that's our madness. You have a lot of Tide Spray still to sell. Though to be fair, not anywhere near as much as some people. Farm's worth it. 10 minutes of work for 1,000 gold. Not bad. Not bad. Let's do linen cloth quickly. Oh, I did the search. I searched already on this server. Sure, let's go. Let's hope this Destiny sells. It's going up on the auction house for 56k. Let's see if it sells. Oh, I should have... 2 gold for Mage Weave. Yeah, sure, whatever. Do I? Yeah, sure. Oh, I've got so many accounts to do. I'm done. I'm done. I really need some food. Let's kill this. Let's load up. I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. I'm going to go get some food. I've got something I need to do this afternoon. But I'll get a video sorted giving you guys an overview of the leatherworking changes and skinning changes in a bit more detail. Because, of course, I'm fully aware that not everybody is able to watch the live stream. Later today, I may look at making that second YouTube channel so I can put the all of the VODs up on a second channel. I'll let you guys know about that as well. But of course, that's me done for the week. It's Friday today. I will be back streaming on Monday. Similar sort of time. So give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace.